I was staying in the Catskill Mountains in New York State for a few days. I had booked an Airbnb with my girlfriend where we could bring our dog, a 100-pound German Shepherd. The Airbnb was a strange RV that was converted/expanded into a cabin. The place was far away from any other houses and on the side road, basically on the side of a mountain overlooking an amazing view. The stay had 2 fire pits. One was right next to the cabin, and the other was about 800 FD away on top of a hill. The last night we were there, we were having one last fire in the faraway fire pit. The fire pit had a great view of the mountain range/cornfields on one side, and the other side sat up against the woodline. We had our dog off leash. He is very well mannered. Our dog kept looking towards the woodline, and it was freaking my girlfriend out. We would occasionally turn the music off and just listen to see if we could hear anything. I also had a small LED flashlight and would scan the woods with it, looking for any animal eyes it picked up. Well, after a little bit of this, my dog jumped up to his feet and started full force aggressively growling at the woods, very out of character for him. Just when I was getting up and turning the music off, my dog darted at the woods, maintaining his high alert status. He juked left, and I heard something take only a few steps back in response. I was able to call him back to me right away, at which point he crept back, keeping his eyes locked on this creature. As my girlfriend held our dog's collar, I stepped closer into the woods with my flashlight and small knife in hand. As I was scanning the woods, my flashlight picked up on a set of eyes, which now looked and sounded a lot further back than we had heard the steps. The eyes were glowing like a dog's eyes in the light of my LED flashlight, but the height is what threw me off. It was too tall to be any animal I would expect to see: raccoon, coyote, skunk, etc. I figured it was a black bear. Although black bears are very skittish to people, and especially dogs, unless protecting their young, so it wasn't adding up in my head. I sat there for a solid 3-4 minutes trying to focus on what this was. The eyes also didn't look like a bear. It looked like a crouching dog. I was lost in my curiosity, and my girlfriend went into almost shock, put the music back on, and said, "We're getting out of here and going inside." I kept telling her to turn the music off and started walking back to her without turning from the woods, but I wasn't going to stay out there alone. She started dragging our dog back to the cabin, and my dog and I had our eyes fixed on the woods. As soon as my flashlight went off the creature, it started following alongside us in the woodline. The footsteps I heard sounded just like a person walking in the woods, and as it followed us, I heard at least 2 separate sets walking near it in the woods. We got inside the cabin, locked the door, and shut all the blinds, and were completely freaked out. I spent the next hour or so listening and watching out the window, hoping the animal would walk into the spotlight off the cabin so I could identify it. I never saw anything step out, but the footsteps continued walking around back there, behind the cabin in the woods. I stepped out the door about an hour or 2 later, but heard nothing and searched with my flashlight. Whatever I heard that night was not afraid of my dog, and I have never seen my dog act like this. My dog will chase rabbits and even deer without making a sound. Luckily, he always comes back to me when I call him. I've spent a lot of time outdoors in my life, and have always been able to identify any animal encounters. I have asked a lot of my hunting friends about this, and asked what if any animal would react like this and not instantly run away from a dog of his size. The mystery of not knowing is what creeps me out the worst. I had never heard of Dogman at the time, so it didn't even cross my mind during the sighting until I started researching crouching dog sightings online. My girlfriend hates to talk about whatever I saw, and we heard that night, so here I am presenting my story as a hopeful skeptic.